Hello and welcome to this yoga flow. This is designed for any time of the day when you just need to relax. So we'll begin in child's pose. So if you don't want to sit your hips too low, you can always come into this modified version where you lift the hips. If you'd like to come into child's pose, taking the big toes together, knees a little wider apart is quite nice, and let the head soften down to the ground. And then we're just going to focus, to begin with, on our breath. And we're going to let that get us into that flow state through the whole of the practice. So as you stay here, as you inhale, feel your upper back start to expand. And as you exhale, feel your hips soften down to the heels. As you inhale, feel those ribs on the sides and the back expand. And as you exhale, feel the jaw slacken. As you inhale, filling up. As you exhale, letting go. Letting the breath be the guide for your practice, smooth and steady. Always there, just enough. So just let your natural breath emerge, smooth, steady pattern of inhales and exhales. And just notice how you feel as you watch your breath. Feeling that natural movement and that smooth, equal breath start to emerge. Using each exhale as an opportunity to soften any spaces in the body that might feel a little tight. And then when you're ready, as you inhale, slowly come to all fours into tabletop pose. And in all fours, the wrists are under the shoulders, the knees roughly under the hips. And then just starting to have a little move around. Maybe you need to adjust the placement of the hands and the knees so you can feel a little comfortable. And then maybe a little side sway, maybe some circles. Or let's try some cat-cows. So as you inhale, the belly softens to the ground. And the chest just lifts a little as you look forward. And then as you exhale, let the movement come from the middle. And then just softly round the upper back, bringing the chin into the chest and coming into a cat position. So there's nice smooth undulations of the spine. So as we inhale, the belly softens into a cow pose. The gaze is forward. And as you exhale, we come into the pose of the cat with the chin tucking into the chest and just rounding that upper back so we feel those spaces opening. And you can move freely with the flow of your breath, or if you'd like to stay in cat pose or cow pose for a few breaths, just start to notice the places that feel really good. This is what this practice is all about. Finding places to feel good and then exploring the sensations with your breath. So keep these movements nice and slow. There's no need to rush. There's nothing to do. Nowhere to be except on this mat with your breath, your body. And just getting acquainted with all the sensations that are going on. Allowing your mind to focus on the body instead of plans for the future or the past. And then just focusing on the here and now. What is happening in this body, in this breath. we're going to tuck the toes under and walk the hands back a little for a toe stretch. So you might want to stay with some more weight on the hands. This can be quite intense. Or you can walk the hands back a little further, place the hands under the thighs. If you want to come into a really juicy toe stretch, then sit up on the heels, stack the shoulders above the hips and gaze forward. And as we probably come face to face with a little discomfort here, making sure there's no pain, maybe just a little intensity, start to use the breath and breathe through this difficulty. Nice smooth deep inhales, nice slow steady exhales. At any time that you feel you need to stop, if it becomes painful, then just feel free to find a comfortable seated position or go back to a child's pose, which actually is a counter pose to this, by stretching out the ankles. And we'll just be here for a little while longer. Again, you can always lean the weight forward a little to take some intensity out of this toe stretch. But all the meridian lines for the body meet in the sole of the foot. So it's gently stimulating the soles of the feet. Start to just activate those meridian lines. And then when you're ready, we're all crawling our way back to tabletop pose super slowly. So we'll stack those wrists under the shoulders to begin with, the knees underneath the hips, and then we'll just see how we feel here. Again, all these movements super slow. And it might feel nice to take a few more cat-cows. Notice the sensations are changing in the body. Things feel a little different. And just taking time to get to know your body, how it is today. When we make these subtle, slow movements, the work that's going on inside our minds and bodies is actually quite deep. In our busy lives, we move quite fast, especially at this time of the year. It's December now, and big to-do lists start to clog up the mind. And then there's a tension in the body. It's only when we start to move slowly and really notice what's going on that maybe we can just take a little time to take out those tightness before it becomes systemic and it stays in the body. Now you can stay with these cat-cows, or we could go to downward dog now by tucking under the toes, lifting the knees off the mat, keeping a deep bend in the knees, and send the sitting bones nice and high behind you. And we'll walk the dog by bending one knee and stretching out the other leg nice and gently. But this nice deep bend in the knees gives the back that lovely stretch without any pain in the knees or the lower back. And this is how I prefer the downward dog. When we're striving for the perfect pose, sometimes we can lose all the subtleties of the stretch. And that's where the magic happens, in those subtle sensations, moments of exploration, and getting to know our bodies a little better. Maybe you're feeling now you'd like to straighten out the legs a little. Maybe you like to keep that deep bend. Maybe you like to adjust the position of the hands and the feet. Traditionally, downward dog has the hands shoulder width apart and the feet hip width apart. But on any given day, we might want to subtly change those placements if it doesn't feel right. And in that way, we are allowing the body to explore the pose rather than dictate what we should do. We're going to feel our way with breath and body through this flow. And then from our downward dog, we're going to bear crawl the feet towards the hands. So I quite like to use this as a toddler crawl. So imagine a toddler finding the feet. They use just enough energy and they keep things nice and easy. So crawling the feet gently towards the hands. And we'll find ragdoll pose with the knees soft, the upper body loose and heavy. If this position with the head below the heart makes you feel uncomfortable, then place the hands on the thighs and bring the head level with the heart. I'll demonstrate that for you in a little while. But if you're still in ragdoll, just let the upper body hang loose and heavy. So this is the halfway pose. If you feel a little dizzy, we bring the head level with the heart, but we still get that nice relaxing length in the spine. So you choose what feels just right for you. Let's see if you can soften even more. Maybe noticing how it feels to breathe in this position. And then super slowly, we're going to make our way to standing. So just pressing a little weight into the feet, making the movements come from the middle, but keeping the head nice and low, chin tucked in. Bring yourself up to stand and coming into nice, easy, upright position. And when the head finally lifts, gazing forward, and on your next inhale, let those arms just slowly float up over the head. And as you exhale, just bending those knees and slowly lowering, nice soft elbows, soft knees, super slow. No rush to get from one place to the other. This is a nice, free, fluid, flowing movement. So thinking of the element of water, moving slowly. As you inhale, we'll come up halfway with the hands on the shins or the thighs, bringing that spine parallel to the floor, and then we'll slowly on an exhale lower back down. And then we're going to repeat those movements. And as we inhale, we'll slowly come up, and we'll keep the arms over the head this time. And as you exhale, let those arms float gently down to your sides. We're coming into mountain pose now. So the feet are about hip width apart. And then we'll begin that that ascent. Inhale, lifting the arms, slowly allowing those arms to drift alongside the ears. Exhale, gently folding forward all the way down, super slow. As you inhale, hands on the shins or the thighs will come up to that halfway lift. Nice flat back, straight legs. Exhale, bend the knees, lower gently down. As we inhale, slowly come to rise, bringing those arms up alongside the ears, and then maybe this time we're going to tip back a little into a back bend, so just slowly leaning back, gazing up to the hands. Exhale, slowly lower those hands down to the side. Mountain pose. Inhale, lift the arms over the head. Exhale, hinge from the hips as you bend the knees, soften the elbows. Fold all the way down, super slow. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice straight legs, flat back. Exhale, soften gently back down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands down to the sides, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up alongside the ears, so it's like we're moving through water, super slow. Exhale, bend the knees, slowly fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands down to the sides. Mountain pose. Inhale, arms over the head. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge from the hips, folding forward. I'm going to come back to a ragdoll this time. So your arms might dangle. You might take the opposite elbow around the opposite arm. You might choose to come halfway. Nice and easy. No rush to be anywhere, do anything. Just be wholly connected to this body and this breath. And according to the ancient yoga scripts, yoga is the journey of the self to the self. Getting in touch with who we are, how we feel. From here, we're going to tiptoe our way back to our downward dog. Our upside down V shape, which doesn't have to look like this. Our hands and feet on the floor, knees soft, head hanging nice and relaxed. Maybe a deep bend in the knees, maybe a walk of the dog, bending one knee and then the other. So we get all the benefits of an inversion. So our head is below the heart, and if you feel happy here, we can stay for a little while. If you prefer to come to a child's pose, that feels better with the head level with the heart, feel free. For an inversion, we just reverse the flow, circulation system. So whether you're doing a handstand, a headstand, shoulder stand, or legs up the wall or downward dog, any position in yoga with the head below the heart is an inverted position and has the same benefits. Lowering the heart rate, lowering the blood pressure, allowing the body to find that parasympathetic nervous system of rest and digest, of befriending this body, accepting, yielding, softening. And when you're ready, we'll find our way back onto hands and knees. Maybe we'll take some circles with the hips. Maybe we'll have a little sway side to side. Maybe we'll repeat those cat-cow flows. And just see if you can trust your intuition to move in a way that will support your body's needs this moment. And then eventually we'll all meet up in child's pose. And then from here we're going to come to lie on our back. So you could just turn over, or if you'd like to flow, inhale up to all fours, tuck the toes, downward dog. Tiptoeing the feet towards the hands, taking a few breaths in your ragdoll pose. Then bending the knees and coming to lie down on your back with your knees bent, your feet hip width apart on the ground. So you might want to bring the knees into the chest for a little roll first. And you could keep the hands beside you, palms facing down, or you could take the arms over the head and give the upper back a nice stretch as well. Nice stretch for the shoulders. And then we're going to place the left ankle over the right knee. And this is a nice easy pigeon pose, lying down. So we get into the hips, all those areas that can get tight for long periods of time in the same position, whether sitting or standing or cycling or running. And we're not going to do anything other than just relax into this shape. And then we could stay there, or we could add a twist by rolling that left knee over to your right side. Now you might not want to stretch, you might enjoy that sleeping pigeon pose. This might feel nice for the middle back. I find twists are really good if my middle back, my thoracic spine is a little tight. Usually if I've been sitting in a hunched position, it gets really tight and comfortable. Then on an inhale, we could roll the knees back to center. Or if you want to uncross the legs, if that feels a little uncomfortable with those knees wrapped over, you could stay in the twist for a little longer. And just notice what your body wants to do. Might need a little weight from the hands to anchor down the knees if they've started to feel as though they want to drift up. So get to know what your body wants to move. If anything's painful, sharp or uncomfortable, then we move out. But it's nice to explore all these subtle shifts of sensations that we might not ordinarily explore. And to come out of this shape, inhale, rolling the knees back to center, making those movements slow and steady so there's no rush. We want to stay in that parasympathetic nervous system. And then we'll repeat to the other side. So taking the arms over the head or keeping them by the side, and taking the right ankle and placing it over the left knee. And again, we might just be here for a few breaths, or this might feel really delicious and you want to stay a bit longer. Or you might want to go into that twist by taking the right knee over to the left side. Or if you feel uncomfortable with those knees twisted, you might want to uncross the legs and then just let the knees fall over to the sides. And we don't always do the same on both sides. Sometimes our needs are very different. And these slow, breath-fueled flows help us to connect and find out what we really need. As our mind and our body's needs will shift and drift depending on what we've been doing. Feel free to move any part of the body, hands, knees, legs. We're trying to get into now a state of effortless ease. Everything feels really good. And those deep breaths will allow that oxygen, chi, that life force, to move freely through the body without obstruction, getting into all those parts. Just like water will always find its way. And then when you're ready to come out of the twist, if you're twisting, inhale to bring the knees back to center. And we'll come to happy baby pose. So we'll bring the knees to the outside of the ribs, into the direction of the armpits. And it might be just enough to hold on to the thighs. That might be enough for us. Or we could take the soles of the feet to the ceiling, taking the hands on the bottoms or the insides of the feet, or maybe onto the calves or wrapped around the backs of the thighs, tucking the chin in so there's no strain on the neck. Maybe staying still or rocking side to side. And happy baby pose is a nice way to decompress the spine. It should feel nice on the sacrum. And just feel those subtle shifts of energy as we change shapes. But the breath is always there, moving, exploring, finding that state of effortless ease in mind, in body, and in breath. From here, we're going to make our way into a relaxation position that feels comfortable. So we might stretch our legs out. We might place a rolled up blanket or towel under the knees. That can be nice. We might place a blanket under the head. We might like to bend the knees, take the feet as wide as the mat, and let the knees roll in together. Now, allowing the eyes to close if you feel comfortable. And let's explore the body with a body scan. So just allow your breath to relax. Just trust your natural breath to roll in and out. Feel the weight of your body supported by the ground. And letting all the muscles soften away from the bones. And then just taking your mind's eye into the soles of your feet. Noticing how they feel now. Whether you can feel warmth or coolness, tingling, fizzing, maybe some other sensation. Maybe you can feel the air around the toes. Or if you're wearing socks, maybe feeling the material on your feet. And imagine you have a torch in your mind's eye. And now shine it into the knees. To the right knee first. Noticing how that feels. And then into the left knee. How does that feel? And bringing your awareness into the pelvis. Notice how the right side of the pelvis feels. And then the left side. Feeling the pelvis as a whole. And remembering that if you ever just don't feel anything at all, that's fine too. Don't stress, we're just exploring. Now shine that torchlight of attention into your right shoulder and into your left shoulder. And now both shoulders together. How do they feel right now? Trying to resist any urge to change, just to notice how they are right now. And then shining the torchlight of attention into the palm of your right hand. How does that feel? And then moving over to the palm of the left hand. How does that feel? Noticing all those subtle sensations that are always there when we choose to notice, or maybe not. There's no wrong way to do this practice. It's just an exploration of our inner space and noticing that what we notice is just as it should be in this moment, with nothing to do, nowhere to be. And now shine that torchlight of attention into your face. Notice how the forehead feels, the cheeks, the jaw. Then shine that torchlight of attention into your chest, to the right side of the chest, and to the left side of the chest. Maybe you can feel the subtle movements of breath gently expanding the chest with each inhale, relaxing with each exhale. And now shine your torchlight of attention into your belly, watching what's happening here as you breathe. Now ever so slowly, start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Maybe a stretch is in order, or maybe just a hug of the knees, or maybe you'd like to explore both. So just see what movements you need before rolling slowly over to one side, making a pillow with the hands, and just resting on one side. Maybe keeping the eyes closed. And then making your way slowly back to a comfortable seated position, resting the hands on the knees or the thighs, closing your eyes or softening your gaze. As you inhale, floating the arms over the head so the palms meet. As you exhale, bring the palms to your heart center. Taking 3 deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you're ready, opening your eyes. Namaste. Thank you. Goodbye.